It's Brandon Vuklich, Multifamily Momentum. Got my brother here.
And I'm Bryan with Hawaii Life on Oahu.
We're starting off a new series with our just talking real estate, talking about investing, talking about what our market conditions are like. And bro, why don't you start off? How's things going over there in Oahu? What can you tell people?
Well, so right now we are definitely experiencing a slowdown. For a while, Oahu was kind of last island in the chain of Hawaii to experience a slowdown. The outlying islands were slowing down at first, but I've just had a nice listing that came on the market a couple of weeks ago, and we've had pretty good traction with showings, but no offers. And at the price point, I'm really surprised. But with the higher interest rates, definitely have an impact here on the market.
And for point of reference, right, it's October 25th, 2022, right?
Yep. And again, with this whole video we're doing today, I thought it'd be really good that we give some information about what the market's like in Western Washington versus here in Hawaii. And I know a lot of your viewers are investors, and great thing about Hawaii in general, but also more specifically Oahu, is that very strong rental markets. Oahu particularly, one is that there's a huge military presence, and those people make great renters because they have to pay, they get a cost of living allowance each month that goes towards housing. And if they do not pay their rent on time, that can affect their rating in the military. So if people are worried about, tenants not making their rent on time, just defaulting on the rental agreement.
Yeah.
Again, the military presence here is great for that.
What's landlord tenant laws like in Hawaii right now?
Not as bad as Washington State, but definitely Hawaii. Now, I'm not a property manager. The company I work for does property management, and I also have some good relationships with some other third-party management companies. But it is definitely pro-tenant here in Hawaii, like Washington State, but not as strict, not as pro-tenant favorable as in your area.
Sounds like you actually still have crime in Hawaii too.
Have what? Oh, yeah. You hear the background, yes. And that's another, definitely there's crime here. People call it paradise, but definitely there's issues, especially on Oahu.
Shocking, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, over here in when interest rates jumped in late May, early June from 3.5 to now we're at 7.5, and that has just squashed buyers' purchasing power, investors' purchasing power. And so I've been telling my sellers, I feel like they're kind of going through the 5 stages of grief right now, trying to unbelief, anger, acceptance, and all this kind of stuff that you go through when you're going through grief. It's the same thing. They can't accept the fact that they missed the peak by a few months, and the new reality is here. The buyers are just not willing to pay what they're asking, or can afford what they're asking. Honestly, I did a quick analysis for some clients last week at $800,000 when they were approved at 3.5% a few months ago. Their payment was going to be $3,600. And now a $3,600 payment at 7% for them is a $540,000 home. Yeah. And I don't know about your area. I'm sure it's definitely different, and people outside that are watching or whatever. In our area, 800,000 versus 540 is a huge difference in quality. I mean, it's a very, very different piece of property. And so that's just the reality of what the buyers can afford now. So that's frustrating.
I know a lot of your clients, again, are investors, multifamily. What kind of cap rates are you seeing right now? Like for maybe a value add, but also a turnkey multifamily in a desirable location.
Right. So because we're in a high appreciating market, strong market, I tell people you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You and I we own in high appreciating markets, Idaho, Washington, Hawaii, versus like Tulsa or Kansas City, other markets that I watch where you're going to get a higher cash on cash return or a higher cap rate because they don't really appreciate as much as they do like in the Pacific Northwest or Hawaii. So, on smaller properties, I don't really pay too much attention to cap rates under 5 units, but on the 5+ units, they're creeping up. Definitely, they were high 3s in the greater Seattle area. Now they're 4s and low 5s. You can find some stuff, but even then, I mean, with financing it around, I don't know, 7%, I guess, on most of these opportunities, it's tough to make work. So it's got to be a cash buyer or institutional buyer or 1031.
Are you seeing multiple offer situations, and what's days on markets for a decent, like a quality multifamily listing?
Not seeing any multiple offer situations anymore. Some on the single family. Not every agent knows how to price, or broker knows how to price a property, right? So There was one last weekend that Rebecca, my assistant, was showing some clients that was 700,000. It was on 8 acres in Auburn, and she and I knew that was just a really good price for the home. And they had multiple offers the first weekend, so it still can be a thing, but that was just because the property was just priced
Right.
incorrectly, honestly, or just inappropriately. So, but yeah, I don't see many offer review dates. Are you?
Not anymore. It's still pretty hot in the short-term vacation rental market segment here. But I just want to backtrack on multifamily here, just so people are aware. Cap rates lower than that. Even this market, you're still seeing on the high side, 4.5% for a quality property. But I saw I think it was an 18 or 20 unit in the Kailua area, which is a very desirable part of Oahu. It was about a 1.6 cap. Yeah, it's been on the market now for, I don't know, can't remember, 40 something days, but there's still multifamily 2.5%, 3.5% cap that are going off market in 7 to 10 days here.
But it's got to be a value add play, right? They're priced. It's priced high because it's Hawaii, and the rents are probably under market. So they're trying to sell like the pro forma, which is made up. We call that Latin, right? For made up. It's kind of market numbers.
Well, some of these are actual, based on actual rent roll. And just to emphasize is that, the big thing about owning real estate here, whether it's a primary residence or investment property, is that land is very, very scarce, as you're probably aware of. And the other thing is that it is extremely difficult. I know Washington is difficult to build, but in Hawaii, 2 recent examples I heard of is that one, I saw there's a listing that came on the market back in February 2021. It was could be a tear down. It was the debatable tear down or fixer upper right off the water in East Oahu. I think it was for 1.2 million. It quickly went off the market. Well, it just went back on the market this month, and he was asking 1.5, and I called the listing agent. I said, well, why is he selling now? And the agent said that when he bought the home in February 2021, he quickly applied for his building permits. He wanted to build. He was going to tear it down. Had a budget for $2 million. 18 months he's been waiting from the DPP. They've still not responded to his building permit request, and so he just finally said, "I'm giving up." And that property had 2 offers within about 24 hours.
Wow.
Another recent story I heard is that someone's house burned down 12 months ago. They just want a permit to remove the rubbish. Still have not gotten approval from the Department of Planning and Permitting. So it's no joke here when people say, if you want to build here, at least 1 year. And so, so again, if there's scarcity and there's a huge, and I'm kind of pro support about not building on open space here anymore, because there's very little open space anyways. But it's just very challenging, and I think it's very positive for even in a tough real estate market. Values usually hold their values pretty well. Our property values usually hold their values pretty well here, even in the downturn.
Yeah, I bet it's going to keep going up for you for sure.
Yeah, and plus, you got international demand with the COVID and the lockdown. People being able to work virtually now, it's allowed people to come here and either work here a couple months of the year or full time and keep a job on the mainland. So,
well, I know a lot of my younger clients, they're looking at house hacking, or that's kind of like their main thing now. They're not necessarily being a non-owner occupied investor, but buying a triplex or something, or a fourplex, and living in one unit and staying there for a while. That's good plan.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's unique here is that there is multifamily here, like traditional multifamily properties, but the vast majority of multifamily on Oahu and most of the other islands is a single family home that's been broken up to multi-generational living, 2 or 3 units. Either generally it's all attached, maybe on separate floors, or single family homes that's been subdivided into maybe 3 units. But just to be clear for everyone watching, is that a lot of this stuff is unpermitted because, again, it takes so long to get approval from the city that historically a lot of people have just done what they wanted with the property. And it's really common when you look at listings on the MLS, it'll say number of bedrooms or square footage does not match tax records because a lot of this stuff has been unpermitted. But they do make great investments. I have a client who bought a single family home that had been converted into 3 units, and they live in the largest part of the house, but then they have 1 bedrooms on each wing of the home. These are 1 bedrooms, maybe 700 square feet, and they're renting out for about $3,000 a month.
Ooh,
So
jeez.
yeah, it can be very lucrative. Yeah.
Well, let's talk short term. You and I own a 3-unit short term Airbnb property here in Washington in the Tacoma area. What do you track over there in terms of short term rentals? I mean, it's obviously a hotbed for vacation rental stuff.
Yeah. So I work with a lot of clients that are actively looking or just kind of browsing for vacation rentals here. And I do work with agents on all the other islands. The rental market does differ. The regulations do differ on every island. So for Oahu, we just had a new regulation called Bill 41 that was passed earlier this year. That just went into effect yesterday. That really limited vacation rentals to the Waikiki area, Ko'olina, which is on the west side, Turtle Bay, which is over on the north shore, and then the Waikiki Hotel Resort District. For nightly rentals, your cap rates are going to be usually anywhere from about 4 to 6.5% if you have full service management. Full service management, I've been quoted from 18 to, it can go as high as 50%, but generally 18 to 30%.
Yeah.
But I have really good relationship with one company that they charge full service 20%, and they do a stellar job of managing properties. But that segment's still really hot. With this new regulations that they just went into effect yesterday, any owner has to register their unit with a DVP, pay $1,000 fee. But two quick
Pay $1,000 to register, or they pay $1,000 fee if they
they
don't.
pay $1,000 registration fee, and that's an annual fee. And two quick examples of recent transactions I did with clients is one client bought a 2-bedroom at the Waikiki Sunset for $715,000. It was an off-market transaction, and it's estimated to gross anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000 a month. They're going to self-manage that to make it more cash flow positive. And then I recently had a client buy at the Ilikai, which is around the ocean, probably the most iconic vacation rental building in Waikiki. That was a 1-bedroom. I was clear with her. She paid $575 and they needed some work.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her if she was patient, she could probably find a unit comparable to that around the $535, $550 range, but she was doing a 1031 and is wanted to lock something up. So, but that's going to probably gross in this current market conditions, maybe around $5,500 to $6,500 a month.
That seems pretty decent, actually. I thought you were going to say more than that for an iconic property or whatever like that.
Yeah, so that building's got over 1,000 units. And a big thing just to know is that feedback from the owner of this vacation rental management company, who's probably the biggest one on the island, is that they manage a lot of Ilikai. And Ilikai, you can either have a unit that has city view, ocean view, or maybe a combination. But he says right now clients or guests really prefer really nicely maintained units. So he's got a unit that's just been remodeled that's got an ocean view. That grosses more on a monthly basis than a data unit that's got a nice ocean view. Cool. So just keep that in mind if you're buying or interested in buying a property here that looks like the data shows that most people want turnkey, really well maintained.
Yeah. What should somebody expect the budget for that if they want a 1-bed vacation rental?
Great question. So this 1-bedroom that my client's remodeling in Ilikai, I referred her to, she's getting the kitchen, bathroom, making a walk-in shower, new flooring, and new paint, and it's 500 square feet. She got one bid for about $28,000. She got another bid for about $57,000, but that included installing split AC in the unit. I personally bought a fixture-up property, and I was my own GC. So if you can be here and be your own general contractor, you can save quite a bit of money. But if you just want to let someone else handle it, it can be quite expensive right now to do a remodel. But if you shop around, obviously get quotes. But again, 2 quotes differed by about $25,000 with my client.
Yeah, you and I both.
What do you see for remodeling costs over there for right now? Are they coming down along with the economy?
Sticker shock for sure. You know, like just an example. You and I had to get that garage enclosure bid for our property in Eagle, Idaho, and I thought it'd be $2,400. It was $4,800.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. Well, they're not going to see a return on that, so we're not doing that. And I have a gal locked into a single family with an ADU below right now that she's going to close on next month in Renton. And she's adding washer dryer upstairs. She's remodeling the kitchen downstairs. She's doing some other things to it. She's going to remodel the master bathroom a little bit too. And her bids are about $40,000 just for that. And that's, I mean, I was hoping she could get it done for under 30, But again, everything I think should cost something that's pretty much double.
Right.
So
Right.
it's hard to say. And then, I mean, even panels for an example too, and I don't want to run too far down this road right now, but electrical panels, I remember when it was like $1,800 to swap out electrical panel. Now it's 28 to 3,200. Not too long ago, it was under $2,000. Now it's
Gotcha.
50% more.
Hey,
So
Patrick, I'm really curious. What kind of cap rates are you seeing for vacation rentals in your market?
I don't track the caps for vacation rentals. It's more like cash on cash return, ROI and stuff like that.
What kind of ROI do you see then generally?
Well, people are trying to target, I think, 12% or something like that, 12, 15%.
Now,
That's pretty high, but
is it regulated at all? I mean, anyone can do a vacation Airbnb.
no,
vacation rental.
places like Chelan County, Lake Chelan, Leavenworth, they're cracking down. There's certain towns. Yeah. So, and Whidbey Island towards the San Juans, there's some pockets that you cannot do short-term rentals, anything under a year. So it's happening, it's coming, but
at least this greatest sale area currently, anyone
oh
can
yeah,
do it.
everybody's pretty, Airbnb friendly, so they're everywhere.
Are you hearing anything from the government that they want
Nope.
to? No. Okay,
But in all transparency, I'm not tracking short-term stuff as closely as the multifamily, like the traditional stuff,
yeah.
because that's the focus of our investing, my clients investing, and things like that. I try to stay on top of it. But as a quick recap too, just so people understand, I watch. There's 5 main counties in Puget Sound. There's Snohomish, which is north of Seattle, King, where Seattle's at, Pierce, where Tacoma's at, Kitsap, where Bremerton, and then Thurston, where Olympia, our capital. Those 5 western counties where I track daily. I watch every multifamily property that is active, pending, and sold there. And so that's kind of what my forte is. And I'm involved in 2 property management companies, one that will not manage in Seattle and one that only manages in Seattle. So if people need information on property management companies or assistance in the Western Washington area, I can definitely help them with that too. So
Gotcha. And I'll piggyback on that is that I serve all of Oahu. I don't do any property management, but like you, I have relationship with management companies that do stellar job. The company I work for, we have offices on every island, major island in Hawaii, and I have great relationships with other agents on any island. Occasionally, I've gone to other islands to look at properties for clients. So if you have any question, any property, Oahu or any other surrounding neighboring islands, happy to be of value to anybody who's
right.
likes
information. We'll put our links down below if people want to get a hold of us, and just let you know that Bryan and I are very connected. We have connections with agents all across this country, from Oahu basically to Florida and everything in between. So all right, I appreciate it. This is something we will do on a weekly basis and try and provide value to our clients, market updates, investment updates, and all the rest. Anything else, bro?
No, thanks for getting together today, and we'll talk soon.
All right, adios.
Bye.